What is up? GoodMicWork back at you with your Monday Night Raw review. The post-Survivor Series Monday Night Raw is in the books, and I'm sad to say things really didn't get a whole lot better. This show was actually exactly what I thought it would be. It actually had some decent moments and some funny stuff in there, so the show wasn't all bad. I'm not going to shit on it the way I did Survivor Series. I'm going to do my best to be as positive about this as possible. But in my head, I was thinking, they're not going to do too much. They're just going to further the shit on with Roman Reigns and Sheamus, and they're going to set up their TLC match, and they're going to do some sort of an angle where the two of them will close out the show, most likely with Roman Reigns' music playing and Sheamus backing off, and that's literally exactly what happened. So it was kind of obvious, probably the direction that they were going to go. We'll go through the show a little bit here. Let's jump right into it. The show opened with the Authority, Stephanie and Triple H, coming out extremely happy, talking about how Roman Reigns had an opportunity to get ahead, and he chose not to, and he basically got what he deserved. They then introduced the new WWE champion, Sheamus, to the entire crowd. Stephanie and Triple H are beaming. They seem very confident about this WWE champion that has lost a shit ton of matches lately, including getting pinned at Survivor Series itself, so they're all happy that he's the WWE champion. Roman Reigns, as expected and predictably, did also come down to the ring after Sheamus said a few words, and he wanted to invoke his rematch clause right there tonight. I actually think that might have been fun. Have Sheamus be a one-day champion and have Reigns win it back just to give the Raw audience a WWE title change. When was the last time we saw the title change hands on Raw? WWE has been so concerned with the ratings, and they've been in the shitter lately, and you got a lot of big names currently absent from the product right now. You would think doing something like that might actually help, but it doesn't look like that's the direction they're going in. It looks like Sheamus is going to hold this belt at least until the Royal Rumble. After Triple H and Stephanie especially, who really got in Roman Reigns' face during this promo, after they turn him down and saying, no, you're not going to get your rematch tonight, you're going to get it at TLC, and a TLC match. And this is one of those instances where it pisses me off when WWE has these themed pay-per-views. There's no reason in the world at all for Roman Reigns and Sheamus to have a TLC match at all. It should just be a match. After what happened at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns needs to get his rematch for the world title. It's not necessary for a gimmick match yet. It doesn't need to be in a cage yet. This is going to be their first encounter for the title. Now, I guess in a way, it's their way of having Roman Reigns lose without being pinned. So you can pretty much guarantee that Sheamus will probably walk out of this pay-per-view as WWE champion, and he will find some way to defeat Roman Reigns, possibly with the Authority's help, because don't forget the belt, I guess, will be suspended from the ring, and he'll find a way to climb up there and get it. Roman Reigns can lose without losing, which is exactly what the WWE wants, but the whole point that this match has to be a TLC match simply because that's the name of the pay-per-view. That's why I don't like TLC. That's why I don't like Elimination Chamber. That's why I don't like Hell in the Cell. But anyway, that is going to be your main event for TLC. It will be Sheamus versus Roman Reigns in a TLC match for the WWE title. Looking back on Survivor Series, I'm still really not that pleased with the outcome. I mean, this was the WWE title tournament. You know what I mean? You would think that this title was once so sought after by a lot of guys whose schedules allowed them to be on Monday Night Raw. You see this tournament and you're like, where the hell is Brock Lesnar? Where the hell is John Cena? Yeah, I know they're off doing different shit in their personal lives, but storyline-wise, you would think that the way these guys acted about the WWE title previously, they would want to drop everything and get their asses back to the WWE to compete in this tournament. This was a pretty meaningless WWE title tournament. I mean, they had Kalisto and shit in there. They had some great workers, current roster members, big names, Roman Reigns, Ziggler, Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, even Alberto Del Rio. Cesaro comes to mind, but they also had a lot of guys missing from it. Bray Wyatt was doing something else. Randy Orton is on the shelf. John Cena's gone. Brock Lesnar's sitting his ass at home. The Undertaker's feuding with Bray Wyatt. It was almost like a B-list tournament, and then to make matters worse, they didn't even have the opportunity to save it by putting it in one night. I think the Survivor Series should have contained that entire tournament. Every match should have taken place on that pay-per-view. I think that would have made the tournament a lot better. It would have told a better story, taken us on a better ride, and I think all in all saved the tournament from being weak, considering it didn't have the biggest names possible in there. I think if everybody competed hard and worked as a team to make this tournament successful, I think the fans would have been a lot more, less brain dead, I guess, at Survivor Series. They were just so quiet and silent. I don't like to shit on the product, so whenever I say it's shit, it really usually is shit. Most people agree. I mean, a lot of people have said the matches were okay, and they were. Alberto Del Rio and Roman Reigns was fantastic. Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose was also fantastic. But the overall pay-per-view, how it all came together at the end, was really not what we were hoping to see. and the matches overall just did not live up to the hype, I don't think. And so this Survivor Series was, in my mind, one of the worst Survivor Series they've ever had. And it pains me to say that. It was The Undertaker's 25th anniversary. I don't want to shit on his show and his celebration, but WWE could have done a lot better job than they did with that pay-per-view, that's for sure. Now we're moving on to TLC, and, here's another situation where we got to hope these matches are great and exciting. We got all sorts of foreign objects and weapons involved in this pay-per-view. Reigns and Sheamus are going to have all sorts of shit at their disposal, so I think these guys can put on a pretty entertaining TLC match, and I hope they will. Sheamus, I expect, and my early prediction right now, is to walk out of that pay-per-view as WWE Champion, and Roman Reigns, I don't know, he's either going to get a rematch at the Royal Rumble, or the WWE or Triple H and the Authority, that is going to insist that if Roman Reigns ever gets a shot at the title again, he's going to have to earn it by winning the Royal Rumble, and then we're back into that fucking situation again. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope it's Daniel Bryan or Brock Lesnar or somebody cool. But if that's the direction they go, we have to worry about Reigns, closing out the Royal Rumble and the WWE fucking the fans over in 3 consecutive years. So let's keep our fingers crossed that they get their shit together before then. By the way, I also completely forgot to mention that they set up the main event for Monday Night Raw during this segment as well. Rusev came out of nowhere and attacked Roman Reigns during the promo. Now, I don't know if I'm crazy or if I haven't noticed, but has Rusev been gone for a while or whatever? I just haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he was out with a small injury and he was back, or he's been there all along and I just haven't been paying attention. But he came out and attacked Roman Reigns, setting up the main event between the two of them for Monday Night Raw. And like I said earlier, the show did end exactly how I predicted it would in my head. Sheamus was out there doing commentary, so he's going to wind up having some sort of a confrontation with Roman Reigns. After what happened to Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, I didn't think Sheamus was going to be the one to stand over his beaten body 2 nights in a row. They did have Wade Barrett make an appearance in this thing, which immediately made me think faction. Are they going to put these 3 foreign guys together and be, like a new Shield? I almost thought that they were going to wind up beating down Roman Reigns and then the 3 of them standing over his body doing the fist thing that the Shield used to do. I thought if they did something like that, that would be great and good heat. But Roman Reigns, of course, winds up turning the tide. He ends up running off all 3 of them, and his music is playing while Sheamus is retreating up the ramp, and it's the big stare down. They do this on every fucking show, and they're just setting up the main event for the next pay-per-view, and we're going to have to go through about 3 or 4 weeks of this shit before we get to TLC. The chair shots were good. I will say that for Roman Reigns. It was nice to see him clean house with that steel chair and get a little vicious and pissed off and angry. The guy should be, right? He's been dicked over twice this year. So to see him go a little bit nuts with a weapon was pretty cool. As far as the rest of Raw, let's see. There was a lot going on here. The Wyatt family are back as if nothing happened. They had a match tonight against the Dudley Boys. WWE made sure they went out there and not only beat the Dudley Boys, but beat the shit out of them after the match, just to reestablish that they're still there and the fans shouldn't forget about them just because they lost to the Brothers of Destruction. So I guess they're going to try to slowly rebuild the Wyatt family's credibility until they move on to a feud with someone else. I think maybe one more feud, and then they do something with Strowman as far as maybe breaking him away from the Wyatt family, or doing something with him on his own because he's so giant and so menacing. You think they're going to want to set up some sort of a singles push for this guy in the future. So maybe if he hangs out with the Wyatt family for one more program and then leaves them, I can almost see WWE breaking him away soon. And with WrestleMania coming up, with the Royal Rumble, first of all, he'll probably be extremely impressive in that, but not win it. And then, Strowman is a guy that I could see possibly winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or something like that. So, I think that might be in his future. We had a couple of women's matches tonight, including a Divas title rematch. The first one was Sasha taking on Becky Lynch. Sasha wound up winning with all sorts of help from her teammates. The referee looked confused as fuck. You had 4 women out there all going nuts, and the entire faction of Team Bad was able to pull off the victory against the lone Becky Lynch. In easily the best and my favorite segment on Monday Night Raw, and I'm sure every single person out there listening to this will agree, the Country Music Jamboree and the WWE Tag Team Title Open Challenge that the New Day was supposed to have. The Jamboree took place. They went out there and rocked it hard and did all their shit and made fun of country music. Raw was in Nashville tonight. They rode out there on little pink horses, and I thought to myself, look at that. Chavo's horse Pepe had 3 daughters. They were as hilarious as they always were. The Lucha Dragons came out there and the Usos came out there all trying to get the title shot. New Day turns down all of them. They turn it into a brawl and New Day retreats, and we never even had the match. The outfits were amazing. Kofi Kingston had a giant unicorn, or his hair tied up right on the top of his head. Could look like a strap-on dildo or a unicorn, whichever you prefer. Big E was wearing the little tiny cowboy hat with the rubber band around the chin. They looked hilarious. They were entertaining as hell, and I love the segment in general. Even though we didn't get a match, I didn't care. If I could just watch the New Day dance around and cut promos the whole show for 3 hours, I would be perfectly fine with that. We also got a 6-man match between Goldust teaming up with the Primetime Players, taking on the Ascension and Stardust. Now, Stardust had a hilarious backstage promo, as most of his are, but this time Titus O'Neil interrupts him, and just a pretty funny little segment, had me cracking up. And Stardust, Cody is absolutely amazing at playing this character that for some reason is just limited to pre-show matches and jobbing. The character Stardust and what Cody is doing with it never ceases to amaze me. He is a strange one, that's for sure, but really funny segment backstage, and then Goldust and the Primetime Players go on to defeat Stardust and the Ascension. I think Titus even got the pin in that. So Goldust did the celebration dance at the end with the Primetime Players. All in all, pretty funny, and great to see Goldust back. I said that last night. We also saw a singles match between Mark Henry and Neville. Jesus, talk about David and Goliath. Neville is the size of Mark Henry's leg, but Henry put him over. And, you know, it's you think about a guy like Mark Henry. We just celebrated the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker. Goldust has been in the company now for 20 years, and Mark Henry has been there almost 20 years. And you know his career is winding down, and it's nice to see him putting over some young talent on his way out. I think they botched the ending, actually. Mark Henry kicked out, and it was very close, but the referee counted 3 anyway. Neville's music started playing and then stopped and then started playing again, and you could tell everybody was trying to say, okay, the fucking match is over. Just play the music and get the hell out of there. But it was nice to see Neville get a victory over Henry, and, you know, Henry's wrapping it up. Mark's had a great career. He's got nothing to be ashamed of. I hope he can hang out for maybe one more year. That way he can say he worked in the company for 20 years. Mark Henry deserves some credit as well. He has had a hell of a run in the WWE. We also got a goofy-ass promo from Heath Slater. He's out there with a guitar trying to do his best Double J impression. He says he's going to sing, and he's doing almost like Will Ferrell-like mic warm-ups with his voice. Before he can even play the guitar, which is good because the guitar is fake and probably made out of balsa wood, Ryback hits the ring to interrupt and basically just beats the shit out of him and no-sells a guitar shot at the same time. Not sure what that was about, and nor do I care. Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio also came out to cut a promo. And again, I don't know, it's just fucking a bunch of gibberish. I don't know what the fuck they're even talking about or what the point is. Zeb Coulter goes on his typical rant about America and all that shit. Alberto Del Rio says a few words in Spanish, and then Jack Swagger comes out, and I haven't seen him either. What about him, too? Has he been around and I just haven't noticed him? To me, it seemed like he made his return, but he came out there to confront the two of them. Cut a promo on his own and threatened Alberto Del Rio. The two of them got in the ring together and stared each other down, and Del Rio backed off, and I guess that's going to be your next program. Not sure if it's going to drag out very long. I think they've already announced a match between the two of these guys at SmackDown, so it doesn't look like this will be a TLC match, and unless something goes down, Jack Swagger gets a victory, which could very well happen, and then they build for a TLC match from there. Paige got a rematch tonight for the Divas title. She claimed Charlotte cheated because Charlotte's arm, I guess, was under the rope or something during the submission move at Survivor Series. So she gets a rematch for the Divas title. Turns out to be another DQ with another brawl on the outside of the ring involving the table. Paige is putting Charlotte in the finishing move on the table, much like she did Becky Lynch a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people are saying, hey, what's the difference? Does it really hurt more if it's on the table? Of course it doesn't, but it looks cool, and I have no problem with it at all. And to me, it seems like, why don't we go for another first here? I bet you anything WWE will book these gals in a TLC match. They should. There should be 2 TLC matches only on this pay-per-view, and they should be for the women's title and the men's title. How cool would that be to see Charlotte and Paige in a TLC match? You know what? I think the girls could pull it off. You think about how dirty this feud has gotten with the mention of Reed Flair and all the emotion involved. You would think that sooner or later these girls have to have an encounter that's going to involve weapons. And what better way to do it than have a TLC match at the TLC pay-per-view? So that is the direction that I'm hoping they go in, and I have a feeling they will. I just hope the WWE has balls enough to go through with it. The only other things I have written down for Raw is a tag team match. Dolph Ziggler teaming up with Dean Ambrose to take on Kevin Owens and Tyler Breeze. Now, before anybody gets too excited, Kevin Owens is a happily married man. I know Tyler Breeze is an incredibly hot chick, but you have to understand that when you're in a marriage, that's sacred. And I don't think Kevin Owens is the type of guy that would cheat on his wife no matter how hot the girl that he's tag teaming up with is. The two of them are tag team partners and friends, and they will never be anything more. And they lost tonight after Tyler Breeze put on that great performance at Survivor Series the night before, beating Dolph Ziggler. She wasn't able to continue that momentum and got pinned on Monday Night Raw, but I still see a very big future for Tyler Breeze. Oh, and I feel like I have to mention the god-awful Carl's Jr. segment, or whatever the fuck that was. The advertisements and, like, the in-house commercials that they do to plug these stupid-ass products that are paying for their shit drives me crazy. They got Mountain Dew bottles in front of them all the time. And now JBL's back there with El Torito and Mark Henry talking about Tex-Mex or something the fuck having to do with Carl's Jr., or Hardee's, as it's called on the East Coast. I could do without seeing any of these segments again for the rest of my life. So basically, that's it for Monday Night Raw. I think the only thing we can really pencil in right now for TLC would be Roman Reigns and Sheamus, probably Charlotte and Paige. What else? Maybe Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. Ambrose might be doing something with Owens and getting a shot at the Intercontinental title. Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler might have a rematch as well, so the card shaping up on paper does not look like it's going to be bad, and it certainly can't be any worse than what we saw at Survivor Series. As far as what you're going to get out of me in the next few days, I don't know where I'm going to be for next week's Monday Night Raw, so there's a good chance I won't even be home for it, so a Raw review next week is not a guarantee, plus we're going to be coming off of the holiday weekend with Thanksgiving, so I might be up here, I might not. There is a good chance you could go 2 weeks without hearing from me. I just uploaded, I think, 5 videos in the last 12 days, so that was a lot. I might skip next week if next week's Monday Night Raw sucks as bad as I suspect it will. But if it doesn't, and it turns out to be a great show, or if anything groundbreaking in the world of wrestling breaks news-wise, I will come up and comment about it. I hope everyone out there has a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time off that you might have from work. Enjoy the time with your family. Eat a lot, get drunk, and throw up. I will catch you in about a week or two. Until next time, peace.